people who aren't here. Okay, so average just kind of means what is the score you're most likely going to make, or if you have a bunch of numbers, all of the numbers could equal out to about this. So if you look at page 194, Aiden scored 75, 85, 90, 80, and 90 on his math test last term. What was his mean or average test scores? So to find the mean, there's two things you do. So I'm going to erase this, and we're going to write the steps. So there's two steps. Step one is add all the numbers. So that's the easy part. You add up all the numbers. And they're not going to give you really big numbers. Now, next year, you'll get numbers that are a little bit higher, hundreds and thousands, but not for this. And then you divide, that's step two. Divide the sum by the number of add-ins. So what that means is once you add up all your numbers, you get your sum. You take that sum and you divide it by how many numbers you've added up. So if we look back at Aiden's test scores, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tests. So if he took 5 tests, once we add up all those tests, we divide by 5. And then that's how you get your answer. So get these two steps down, then I'm going to erase this and we're going to practice some. Once you get into 5th grade, I don't think we'll do it in 4th, but you go on to mean, median, mode, and range. And it's just taking the numbers and just doing different things with them. And it's real simple, mostly just adding and subtracting. But once you get on these, you'll be flying with these. They're pretty easy. After we test on this, looks like we're going to go into measurement. We're going to see how much measurement we can really do being online. Then we might hit some, what else? Some graphs, and those are easy. And we'll see how far we get before the end of the school year. We probably will start with some fractions too, just the basic stuff. So get these steps down, and then we're going to find the average of these test scores. All right, so I'm going to clear this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write down the numbers they gave us for the math test, and you're going to stack them up and down to add them just like we would normally do. So he made a 75 on one test, an 85 on the other, a 90, then he made an 80, then he made a 90. So all we're doing is adding up the numbers they gave us. That's step one. Okay, so now let's add them up. For this one, we have 5 plus 5, so we get 10, carry our 1. If we add up all of these numbers, we get 42. So 420, which is kind of funny because today is April 20th, 420. So this is meant to be that we do it today. So when we added up all of the test scores in the book, he got 420 when we add them all together. Then we take the sum, which is 420. Remember, the answer to an addition problem is the sum. And we divide it by how many tests he took. And he took 5 tests. Okay? So we're going to take the number, the sum, and divide it by how many tests he took. So then we say, how many times does 5 go into 42? 5 goes into 42 8 times. 5 times 8 is 40. Then we do 2 minus 0 is 2. Bring down the 0. 5 goes into 20 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20. We get no remainder. So the average is 84. So if we were to take an average of all of his test scores for his report card, he would have made an 84. Okay, so when you see your grades on your report card is kind of like that. You take all your grades together, add them up, and divide. So that's how we would see his score. So on these, you're going to not have a remainder for your averages here. You might in the future, but not today. So if you get a remainder down here, you need to look at it again because you should not have a remainder today. All right, finish copying that. I gotta get one person on here that just sent me a message trying to get onto Shobi. So give me just a second. Not Shobi, but Zoom. All right, so look at the bottom. It says, study this example. Find the mean, $2.44, $3.68, $4.20, $1.64. So if we were to find the average of those prices, we would add them all up and divide. So that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna add up $2.44. And if you just put a dollar sign on the first one, you don't need to put it on every single one. $3.68, $4.20, $1.64. Okay, so the first step is we're gonna add up all those numbers they gave us. And on these, you can see that they gave you the answer to them anyway. We're gonna do some where you're gonna try on your own, they're not giving you the answer to the sum. So when you add up all of those numbers, if we do 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 8 is 16, carry the 1. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 2 is 14, plus 4 is 18, plus 1 is 19, carry the 1. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we get $11.96. Now don't quit there and think you're done, okay? There's another step. We need to see how many prices they gave us. So if we count it up, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So they gave us 4 prices. So we need to take $11.96 and divide by 4. And we did this when I first started our Zoom and our distance learning, where we did the dividing money. And if you remember, I said always put your dollar sign and your decimal first. That way you don't forget. So then we just divide like normal. 4 goes into 11 2 times. 4 times 2 is 8. When we subtract that, we get 3. And we bring down the 9. I know that 4 times 10 is 40, and that's going to be too high, so we're going to have to go 4 times 9 is 36. 9 minus 6 is 3. Bring down the 6, and we just did that, so we know it goes in 9 more times. And when we subtract that, we get 0, and I just erased that. I'm sorry, hold on. Ugh. I erased it. I'm sorry. I don't know how to go back. Lord. Okay, so your answer would have been $2.99. Sorry. If you get too close to the edge, it makes you erase all of it. But that one's in your book. All right, give me just a second. I see. I thought I saw a hand raised. Maybe not. Okay. All right, so sorry, that one definitely didn't work out like I wanted it to. Jacob, do you have a question?
I do. Well, it's not much of a question, so I'll wait until the end of this meeting.
Okay. All right, so let's do one together. look at number 20 in your book on page 195. This one is similar to the test scores. It says, use the information in the grade book. So teachers have something called a grade book. Ours is Teacher Ease online, but some teachers, I know Ms. Moody does, she keeps hers written down too. So it tells you Bob, Carly, Dawn, Eric, and Gary. Then it tells you that they had test A, test B, test C, test D, and test E. And it tells you their grades for each one. So if we look at number 20, what was Carly's mean test score? What was her mean score greater or less than Dawn's? So let's just do the first half of that. If we see Carly, so for test A, Carly made an 82, then she made a 73, a 68, a 72, and an 85. So Carly didn't do too great on her test. So let's see what her average was. So if we take her test scores and let's add them up. So she made an 82, then she made a 73, a 68, a 72, and then an 85. Okay, so first step is we need to add up all of Carly's grades. We don't know what class this was or whatever, but let's just assume it's science or something like that. So Carly took 5 science tests, and these were all of her grades. So we're going to add them up first. So 3 plus 2 is 5. I like to add them kind of in my own way. So 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 8 is 18, plus 2 is 20. So put down your 0, carry your 2. Okay, 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 7 is 17, plus 6 is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 plus 7 is 30, and 30 plus 8 is 380. Okay, so let me just double check that we got the math right on that so we don't have to redo it. So 82 plus 73 plus 68 plus 72. See, this is why we don't use calculators, because we keep messing it up. All right, 380, we're correct. So what we're going to do now is divide by how many tests she had. So she had 5 tests. So let's take the sum, 380, divide it by the 5 tests that she took. We know 5 won't go into 3, but it will go into 38. It'll go in 7 times. 5 times 7 is 35. 8 minus 5 is 3. Bring down the 0. 5 goes into 30 6 times. 5 times 6 is 30. No remainder. So her average is 76. So she didn't do too great on her test to get an average of 76. So if you need to do what I did, those numbers, 82, 73, 68, 72, 85, if you need to add them up twice to make sure you got the right number, do that. That way you don't get messed up when you go to divide, because you should not get a remainder just like we got here. You should get a 0 there. Okay, I'm gonna give you an easy one to try on your own for a second. Let me double check and make sure that it doesn't give you a remainder real quick, and then I want you guys to try it on your own. All right. So try this one on your own. If I gave you the numbers 3, 5, 7, 9, and 6. The chat is not available right now, so once you get your answer, just hold on to it. So 3, 5, 7, 9, and 6. See if you can find the mean for those. Once you have your answer, just hold on to it. These are the ones where when I come up with it in my head, I have to kind of make sure it works before I give it to you. because I don't want you to have a remainder. Now remember, you won't always not have a remainder, but for 4th grade, we're not going to have a remainder, okay? Give me one more minute or so. All right, so when you added up those numbers, right here, you should have gotten 30. Okay, if we take the 30 and we divide by how many numbers I gave you, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 30 divided by 5 equals 6. Okay, so if you got 6, that's the correct answer. Okay, I'm going to give you another one. This one only has 4 numbers. So try 6, 4, 10, and 4. Notice how I have 2 4s. You can have that. They might give you the same number repeating. Just like for the test grades, if they took a test and they made 100 every time, then we would have an average of 100. So you can have the same one more than once. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit to try that, and then we'll probably do one more, and then we'll talk about some science. So add those up, and then you divide by how many numbers I gave you, and that'll give you your average. So they're pretty simple. They're pretty easy to do. All right, so let's do this one. 6 plus 4 plus 10 plus 4, you should have gotten that to equal 24, okay? Then if we take 24 and divide it by the number of numbers I gave you, 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. 24 divided by 4 is 6, so you would have gotten the same answer there, 6. Okay? I'm gonna give you one more. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a harder one, okay? See if you can do this one. I'm gonna stack these numbers up to make it easier to see. It's gonna be number 19 in your book. So $8.44, 31 cents, $2.97, $3.13, and 80 cents. Okay, so those are your numbers, and I went ahead and kind of set it up for you to add. All right, Zoom is doing that thing again where it's telling me it'll end in 10 minutes, even though I have an account. So if it ends, we'll pick it back up and I'll restart it. So let's see if we can make it through before it ends. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm gonna give you a little bit more time to solve it, then we're gonna do it together. I think that what happened is I'm logged into a different Zoom account than the one that I pay for. So it might cut us off in just a minute, but we'll see. My screen went away, so give me just a second trying to get the share back up. I'm having all kind of issues today. Okay, so I got that back up. So let's add these up real quick before it kicks me out of the Zoom meeting. So if we look at this column, the ones column, 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 1 is 11, plus 4 is 15, so carry your 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 8 is 18, plus 3 is 21, plus 4 is 25, plus 1 is 26. Then 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13, plus 2 is 15. So 1565. Then I gave you 5 numbers. So 5 goes into 1565. 5 goes into 15 3 times. And if we subtract it, we get 0. And I forgot to do what I always told you guys to do. Put your dollar sign in decimal. Bring down the 6. 5 goes into 6 0 times. No, not 0. Sorry. I was thinking about the 3. 5 goes into 6 1 time. 5 times 1 is 5. Subtract that, you get 1. Bring down the 5. 5 goes into 15 3 times. So $3.13 would be the answer that you give me. Okay? All right, so that's what you're going to do today. You're going to do 1 through 6 on page 194. They're super easy, especially if you look at number 4. It only has 2 numbers. So you add up 500 plus 250 and you get 375. Super simple. All right, so before this Zoom meeting kicks me out, I got about 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. I'm logged into the wrong one, so I'll take questions in just a second. For science today, all I want you to do is read the lesson. I wrote some notes down I want you to copy, and then I want you guys to do the 1 through 5. It's a homework grade, but I'm still going to be reading your answers, okay? So with that, we'll go more into the atmosphere stuff on Wednesday when we have our meeting. For today, I just want you to read it and to make sure you understand the levels of the atmosphere. All right, if you do not have any questions, you guys can go get started on math and I'll unlock it. And in just a second, I'll unmute you to see if you have any questions. But remember, when I unmute you, please don't take over the microphone for silly things, because then we won't be able to get the questions. All right, Natasha, do you have a question?
I wasn't listening. I just wanted to know what again.
Say that again.
I just wanted to know what problems we were doing.
1 through 6 on page 194. I'm unlocking it on Zoom right now.
Okay.
Jacob, do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. So What happens if I miss the Zoom meeting on Wednesday because Wednesday is my birthday?
I'm gonna post it on Show React.